Hi, welcome to Podcast at the Lab, where we are a church without limits connecting faith and the marketplace. We're so glad that you joined us today, and we hope that you enjoy this video. Hi guys, welcome back to Podcast at the Lab. I'm here with my dad, and we're going to be talking a little bit about resurrection.
We're talking about resurrection. I thought about just some stories that we had growing up. It's like, we always get up in the morning, and you guys, we actually do the Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And everybody colors Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to remember, wasn't there sometime was like weeks later we found an egg?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I feel like it's happened a couple times. Yeah.
Has it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I always have to, or excuse me, I guess I hide the eggs. So it's like I always have to say,
what?
It's just like, oops. And I always have to try to make sure that I get it all. It's like, okay, how many was in this room? How many was in this room? How many was in this room? And a lot of times what I did was I hit them kind of in plain sight, which is something I'm going to talk about in a minute. So Bryson, let's see. None of you guys were baptized on Easter. I'm trying to think of. I didn't think so. Do you remember the Easter when I got into the baptismal? I just crawled into the baptismal, and anybody wants to be baptized, come on in.
I remember that happening, yeah, but I don't remember it specifically.
Yeah, you were younger.
Yeah.
Because I thought, you know what, we're just going to try this.
Oh, on Easter?
Yeah, we just did it on Easter. Because I had
that.
my tie and my nice pants and shirt. And the only thing I did was I took my phone off, and then I took my shoes off, and then I just got in. I said, okay, anybody wants to be baptized? And we had several. I can't remember how many people got baptized that day, but there were a lot of them. And the reason we did it was because it was the scripture in Acts where it talks about this guy accepted Christ, and they said, well, what prevents me from being baptized? And so they did it just right then. It's like, so why don't we just do it right then?
Yeah.
So anyway, is there any things that you remember, like the stuff that we remember when we did, Easter services or resurrection services? Is there anything that stood out to you?
I remember we used to do the egg hunt at the church.
Right.
And then I remember being on the other side of it. And then we used to, every year, me and Dylan, we used to, that little ledge that was on the school?
Over in the
we used to
school.
throw eggs and try to get one to stick up there. And so there'd just be like 30 broken eggs down at the bottom. But we did it every single year.
I remember you guys doing that, but you'd always end up with one up there.
Yeah, we'd almost always get one up there.
Yeah, and then we got to figure out how to get it down.
Yeah, it would stay up there for like months.
Yeah, and they would say, who did that? It's like, well, let me see. One of them was the pastor's son, and the other was an elder's son. It's like, yeah, of course they would be the guys that would be doing things like that.
Yeah.
You remember the food, right?
Oh, yeah. The brunch, yeah. One of my favorite parts, always.
Oh, my gosh. People would just bring all kinds of food out.
Yeah.
They'd bring some amazing food out.
Mm-hmm.
And we always dressed nice.
Yep.
Mom always made
One
sure
day of the year.
we tried to dress nice other times, but Mom would always try to make sure there was the Easter outfits.
Yeah. I remember we'd go shopping like literally the day before sometimes.
Yeah.
Because we got to look good on Easter.
Yep. And we would make sure we kind of matched.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I was thinking about this with so a little bit earlier, I said hidden in plain sight. Because we hide the Easter eggs, and a lot of times we hide them in plain sight. And of course, you guys did when you did the Easter egg hunts. Yeah. There's been so many Easter eggs that at some point you just kind of like hide them.
Yeah.
They weren't hidden anymore. They were just like right there.
Yeah, especially for the little kids. They're not going to be looking for them. I mean, we'd hide some of them for real, but most of them we just kind of throw on the ground.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
Has there ever been a time when you think about this? I'm putting you on the spot, but where you go, why didn't I see that? I mean, you just like you had something happen. And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed that. Have you had? Just think about things like that.
Yeah. I mean, you probably know this week I got towed, so I definitely missed that one.
Yeah, you missed that one. But But the reason I ask is because one of the key things I look at with the scriptures is like, and Luke 24 talks about this, and Justin Evola and I were talking about it. We were talking about it in our home group, where the disciples, let me see, what was it? It was Mary that ran to the tomb, and the tomb was empty, and she's trying to figure out where Jesus went.
Mm-hmm.
And what struck me was the fact that Jesus even told them, okay, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to have to go to the cross. I'm going to be killed, but on the third day I'm going to rise again. And it still caught him by surprise.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking about. It's like, I don't know whether there's things like that where it's like, okay, even though you got told, here's what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen, this is the way it's going to happen, and you still get caught by surprise.
Yeah. I think that it happens probably pretty frequently. I mean, I can't really think of a time right now when that happened. But yeah, I think that happens definitely a lot, where you just kind of don't realize the whole picture of everything that's happening, even though it was already laid out right in front of you. Well, I guess I could say I take these marketing classes, and so at the beginning of the year, he lays out the whole entire class and what we're going to do. And it's a really rigorous course. It's probably the hardest classes I've ever taken. And still, every time I'm like surprised when it ends up being so much work, even though from the very start, I was like, I knew what I was getting myself into, but it's still kind of shocking how difficult it is sometimes.
See, and that's a good point. It's like, even though they warn you so much, like, okay, this is going to be really hard. I remember that from seminary. They talked about the paper that you had to write at the end of seminary. Of course, when they explained the whole thing about, because you have to really basically write out your whole theology. And when they said that, my first thought was, well, I guess I'll never graduate, because I mean, they made it sound so difficult that, like, I'm just going to have to say I took a couple of college or graduate classes, and that was it.
It's hard to. It's almost like it's difficult to see the finish line when you're kind of stuck in the middle somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's really true. It's like, and that's why I look at with just even the resurrection. It's difficult. It looks like it's impossible. It looks like it's never going to come to pass. And then when it does, you get caught by surprise. You know, how come I didn't see that?
Yeah.
And I just want to end with that. It's like, that's the thing that you and I have got to remember. It's like, I was thinking about this scripture the other day. It's like, it's the one that everybody knows, Psalm 23. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. And we forget the part, we would like the part where God really takes care of us and loves us and all that. But we forget the part where he says, okay, I'm going to take you through the valley of the shadow of death, but I don't want you to be afraid. It's kind of like one of the scriptures that it's in Luke, where Jesus talks to the disciples and he said, hey, listen, guys, I want you to go to the other side. So they go to the other side. In the middle of it, there's this storm, and all these guys and all the disciples turn around and go, wait, Jesus, we're going to die here. And they forget that it was Jesus that pointed them in the direction that they needed to go. And so he had to have known the storm was going to be there.
Wasn't he was sleeping, right?
Yeah, he was sleeping. That's the funny thing, too. It's like, he's asleep, not even just like a light sleeper. This guy's exhausted, and he's just out of it. And they had to wake him up because they thought they were going to die.
That's pretty funny.
There's a lot of funny things in the Bible.
Yeah.
So he calms the storm. But the point is that there's a lot of things, like when you look at the resurrection, there's a lot of things that we're going to go through. And when we go through it, we panic and we go, Lord, don't you care that we're going to die? And it's like, wait, I'm the one that led you into this. If I led you into it, I'm going to get you out of it.
Yeah.
So that's our message to you, is just to remember that whatever it is that you're doing, if he's leading you into a storm, he's leading you into the storm to get you out of the storm. So this is Scott and Bryson. Happy Resurrection Day. Good to be with you. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope that you really enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, as well as hitting that bell so that you're notified every time that we post. Have a great rest of your week.